Almost saying, just when we thought things were already us for this country where we did Niger, this particular new update, it don't cause big problem. Two major stories where you know fit ignore. First one, there's this news about one court in Canada. We don't declare our biggest political parties, APC and PDP, as terrorist organizations. As a matter of fact, this one don't cause big problem. A lot of free Nigerians don't they react massively online, and people don't they ask these two major questions. Is this politically, or is the world now finally seeing what we, the people of Niger, have been facing all these years? And secondly, there's this big wala surrounding the return of former President Goodluck Jonathan. We don't even know which one to believe. There's talk that he don't join the ADC, the opposition coalition. There's another talk that he don't join PDP. Now, we don't even know which one to believe. Rumors plenty, and there are even things where not even happen, where people they talk say it happen. So don't rush go anywhere. In this video, I'll be breaking it down for you one by one, and I have some clips to back it up. But please, I take God beg you, don't just watch and go without dropping anything in the comments. I love reading comments, and the only way you can help us to serve you better is by sharing what you feel about the updates what we bring for you. I beg, I use God beg. You see, say I beg. I love reading comments. Even if there's anything you like or you dislike, make sure you drop them. I go respond and I'll work on it. Thank you very much. Now, like I said, for the first update, Canadian court declaring APC and PDP as terrorist organization. I want you to take a listen and hear waiting former Senator Shehu talk when he was interviewed on Chinese television.
The ruling in Canada about the two political parties have reacted to this. When that kind of situation happened, do you think that is an overreach, or it reflects just a bit of what that organization, that entity feels about what APC and the PDP as political parties stand for?
You see, a lot of things are said about our country, and we seem to belittle our prestige and our role in history. That is why you hear people outside of the country calling Nigeria a nation of scammers, of fraudsters, a corrupt people, and terror and whatever. But if you go through history and see the role Nigeria played, there is no country in this continent or outside of this country that has made enormous contributions to global peace and stability. I will go a bit of history. Before Nigeria's independence during the Second World War, Nigeria was drafted to fight in Europe. Nigerians fought in Europe against the Nazi Hitler. We fought in East Africa when Mussolini was trying to occupy Somalia, Ethiopia. Nigerians were in Burma. Nigerians were in Philippines. This was the record before even our independence. Just immediately after our independence, 60s, Nigerians were in Congo to restore peace and order. And you see the role we played in the 80s in terms of bringing peace to Somalia under UNISOM. And see the role we played in Liberia and Sierra Leone. We are also in the forefront of the fight against apartheid colonialism in Southern Africa, particularly in South Africa. We lend support, logistics, and training to the revolutionary fighters there. We've supported MPLA in Angola. We supported Frelimo in Mozambique. Now, this is a country that someone will sit down comfortably in Europe or United States and simply cast aspersion and defame us and try to destroy our identity, while for all these things we have done to humanity, we got no credit for it. Now, a court in Canada, an obscure court, whether it's a magistrate or a high court, will sit down and look at a nation of 230 million people and see the biggest of their political parties that preside over their affairs are terror groups. I think it's time for everyone to learn to speak for this country. I don't think that it makes any sense. And I read a legal opinion on it. Someone was perhaps a minister under Obasanjo administration, and then he has an issues there. And the reference was made. Yeah. So we are too big as a country for a judge in Canada to look at us and say our political parties.
A sweeping statement.
Yeah, we as a nation, we just marked 8 years of the attack on Hiroshima. US threw a bomb and killed over 250,000 people.
Nagasaki.
And nobody is calling them terrorists. This is a nation that has not colonized, have not occupied, we have not looted, we have not destroy and enslave other persons, and then you look at us, a nation of 250 million people, and say that
the inference
it doesn't make any sense at all.
Was the activities that goes on with members of relating to members of these political parties, where we see political violence and subversion. Those are some of what has brought up that statement in that courtroom, to have brought that appellation of terrorist or violent political party activity.
Well, it's just what I'm saying. US has two parties, Democratic and Republican parties. All their presidents have been engaged in bombing other nations and killing people. In the United Kingdom, the Conservative and Labour, they have prime ministers who are also
And
involved
Trump was almost
in
killed at
attacking
campaign.
and killing people or parties, but they let such kind of courts declare them as terror parties. So it is simply trying to cast aspersion of our country, and it's not only limited to Canadian court, but this is a narrative that we as Nigerians must stand up and speak. We have made sacrifices for the peace, stability, and progress of humanity like no other country in the world. We should be giving credit for that, and we shouldn't take it. I can remember there was a time a magistrate gave a ruling against Rwanda as President Paul Kagame, and the response was swift. You can't sit down somewhere in a court in a city that is unknown and of no value to us as a country and look at us and tell us that we have political parties that are terror groups. It makes no sense, and we shouldn't give credit to that, and we shouldn't give audience to such kind of.
Well, as you can see, now something like this, they always vex our politicians. However, another lawyer was also interviewed on Arise News, and this is what he had to say about it.
Let's talk about Canada now, saying that political parties are terrorist organizations. I mean, what's your read on that? Quickly.
Yes, the world has, because of the impact of terrorism in the whole world, the world has come to adopt, especially Western countries and all modern democracies, to have liberal interpretation of terrorism. The previous interpretation, whereby you need to bomb people and do all manner of things on a very large scale, has been brought to a close, such that with the impact of certain political parties in the Western world being anti-immigration, so even the ruling parties that were very liberal to immigration, they are beginning to accept the interpretation, the expansion, the extrapolation of the meaning of terrorism. And take it, Nigeria is the 6th in the Global Terrorism Index. So it's not a very enviable position to be in number 6. So take it back to Canada, what has happened in Canada. In the case of Douglas, however, and Canada, where the two PDP and APC have been described as terrorist organizations. So it is, I think, for that purpose, the Federal Court of Canada used it contextually, in that context, for immigration purposes. Although it can be expanded in future, and this is not the first time similar Nigerians will go to wash our dirty linen in the public. But beyond what Nigerians say for purposes of getting asylum and elevating themselves to refugee status under the Refugee Convention of 1951 of the United Nations. So beyond what they say, they should realize that under Article 2 of the Refugee Convention, they are bound to submit themselves to the national laws of the countries they have found themselves. And under Article 9, those countries can reject the applications based on national security. And I think that it was in the course of trying to reject that application, pursuant not just to Article 9, but also to Section 53 of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act of Canada, that the Federal Court of Canada said, no, what the parties belong to engaged in subversion, and this could be likened to terrorism.
Now, for a very quick recap of the reason why, APC and PDP were declared as terrorist organization. There's this one, Mr. Douglas, we want travel go Canada in 2017, asylum. I mean, it's just so funny why he won't rush go Canada. Share Nigeria is no longer safe for them. On getting there, they checked through his political records. This man, he told them he served under PDP and APC. Now, the Minister of Public Safety for Canada, they can't check his political records. Oh, during this so period where you were under APC and PDP, there's this news about snatching of ballot box, subversion, where they linked to terrorists. So that was the reason why this man was denied access to enter Canada. I mean, they find asylum go Canada. I don't know what to do Nigeria where you want to Nigeria go Canada. What to do our country where they no feel. I mean, it's just so funny, and that is one of the reasons why we need to start holding our leaders accountable. It won't go Canada. So now waiting cause the whole news about this, court declaring PDP and APC as terrorist organization. Now, moving on to the other part, Jonathan. People, they confused. Recent news where they fly around, they say, this northern group, they are saying that now politicians, and poison their minds, particularly APC. That was the reason why they didn't vote for Jonathan. They chased him comments. Now they want him back. As how now? And not only that, it's talk that PDP wants him back. There's also talk that PDP also wants Peter Obi back. Politics for Nigeria. Now one, I don't know if you understand, because at this point, I don't even know which one to believe. Now, I'm not saying I don't know which one to believe, because they always confuse us. Different stories. Same people will go talk negative about you. Tomorrow they go talk positive about you. Now, this is what Dan Ulasi said on Channels Television when he was asked to speak about Goodluck Jonathan. And this man, PDP chieftain, this is what he had to say.
What about Goodluck Jonathan?
Well, he has done 6 years, and I wish him the best of luck. If he wants to get back to the party, it will be an easy sell for Tinubu, because he has nothing else to offer.
You think so?
Yes, he has nothing else to offer. Well, see, when you run a government for 6 years, what was spectacular in his 6 years? He's a PDP. I met him more than 5 times when he was president. I don't want to discuss that, but there has to be something extraordinary you offer as a leader. Because leadership is about results, not speech making, creating enmity.
Now, moving on to the second part, this is what Shehu Sani also said about our Goodluck Jonathan on Channels Television. Take a listen.
During the 2023 campaign, President Tnubu promised economic revival, anti-corruption fight, reforms, and 2 years later, his opposition and his critics are saying poverty remains stubbornly high, and policy progress is sluggish, and there are talks about the emerging opposition coalition. They're saying the only agenda they have is sending President Bola Tinubu back to Lagos, and we're in fact hearing that former President Goodluck Jonathan there are whispers that he may have his heart and his eyes in the game on 2027. What do you make of what is going on?
Well, first of all, I don't speak for the government, but all I know is that economic reforms program anywhere in the world is not easy. And for any nation that has a vision of the future, sacrifices need to be made. That became the foundation for greatness of nations like South Korea, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. We have to make sacrifices for the future. And we're in a democracy. It is within the rights and the ambit of our democratic experiment or law or rule to have an opposition that will give an alternative. But if their only cost for power is to remove Tinubu without providing any alternative to governance of his own style, then they have no agenda. And let me be very frank on this. The people that constitute the coalition today are not ideologically and philosophically different from the programs which the Tinubu administration is prosecuting. So it's not like you have a Marxist and a capitalist or a new liberal and a conservative. They all, during their campaign and in their lives, you can see those liberal values of devaluation, removal of subsidy and so many things. So it's like the team A of ruling power and team B. Now, in the case of Jonathan, each time there's an election, you see the name of Jonathan coming up, but it is his own volition to try to contest. But I advise him not to do that. The reason for that is very simple. The PDP he used to know is not the same PDP now. The PDP in the Southwest are endorsing the president and some of his members of their party. They are in the coalition. So he is not going to be in the party that he used to know. So he shouldn't waste his time.
As you can see, a lot of things they happen for this country. Now, these two major stories, like I said, you don't want to miss it. Now, let me know what you think about everything in the comment section. Well, our politicians, they don't vex. Say, Canada Court does not have the right to declare PDP and APC as terrorist organization. And also, the fresh wahala surrounding Goodluck Jonathan. Why are they chasing after this man? Make this man arrest. Waiting they say for this man 2025, when they don't say in 2014. I mean, just so funny. So let me know what you think about it in the comments. Seriously, I want to hear your honest opinion in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this update, do well to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. I got you. 247 updates. Thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you in the next one.